Hello everyone, this is Irina, my channel Astrobabushka, and without further ado, I want to show you something that I found regarding USA chart. And this can stretch from now until fall, and then it can be continued, or it can be continuation of that. So while looking at the current planetary patterns, I couldn't help myself, but I went back to 1980s. So this is the chart of USA that I'm using. So the Mount St. Helens volcano eruption happened back then. Long story short, I'm watching closely anything regarding west coast of USA. So I have a tattoo, and there's like some sign happened after the last year. So I was thinking it's a sign of underwater volcano near Oregon, but now I'm thinking maybe it can be a sign to something more broad. So what we have about Mount St. Helens. The whole thing happened on May 18, 1980s. So on the right we have a transit chart for USA, and on the left we have, natal chart and transit chart. So in this video, again, it is not full-blown prediction video, because I'm not saying that something is going to erupt, but there's a definitely tension brewing. The tension brewing, and this tension can manifest as on material level. It can happen also on, on the more psychological level. But nonetheless, it is definitely going to disrupt emotional inner foundations of people of USA. Okay, so back in 1980s, right, we have eruption on Mount St. Helens, and it did not explode out of nowhere, right? It was weeks of little earthquakes, and it was also visible bulging on the side of the mountain, and it was like a major. It's not like few inches, or it was like I think it was in a feet measured. And so scientists were monitoring closely that area already, and the geological system was already under pressure. And now, what is interesting comparing to current times? So, yes, 18th May 1980, the whole eruption happened, but let's check eclipses on 1980. So it was a solar eclipse, 16th February. Now we have a 17th February eclipse. Important thing to say that 16th February is also when Sun is passing through Mrityu Bhaga, or death degree. And the reason why I actually was looking closely, historically wise, to these volcanoes, because Harry Truman died. So I thought, when I was reading a long time ago about this, I thought it's one of the presidents, but it's actually someone who lived there. It just, they have the same first and last name. And because he lived there the whole his life, the story is that he didn't want to leave that area, even though, people were warning him that something major is going to happen. And, they were evacuating people. So he decided to stay there. So that is one point, and that sent us to the 15 to 16 February in few days, very soon. And we're monitoring death degree now because Sun is the ruler of the year. So normally you should monitor it, but it's also important. Yes, it's Mrityubhaga Bhaga here, you can see. But what do we see here now? So we see that Sun and Moon were conjuncting during the solar eclipse in 3 degree of Aquarius. It is the Dhanishta Nakshatra. And now, if we pull up the chart for the current eclipse, we have the same degree. We have 4 degree. We have 4 degree of Aquarius. So you can see for yourself how similar it is. So it is happening in Dhanishta. And if we open, so in Vedic astrology, we have something that is called Kurma Chakra. And it's specifically for mundane astrology. And if we check Dhanishta Nakshatra, it's northwest. And Mount Helens, it is happening right on northwest of United States. So that's, we can put the check mark. Now, if we go to the next eclipse, lunar eclipse, it is also happening around the same degree as it's happening now. So here we see Sun 17 degree, and Mars, Moon obviously is gonna be there as well, and it is Satabhisha Nakshatra. Satabhisha Nakshatra is north. So more or less we are seeing, correlation. So between solar and lunar eclipse. It always gives us the idea of north, northwest, that area. And we have the same situation happening right now in the 2026. It is the same Dhanishta, and in lunar eclipse will be also in Satabhisha, ruled by Rahu. That is important. And Mars. Mars is all about land. It's also aggression. It's always on when there's something happening about the land with, if it's earthquakes, if it's volcano eruption, all this. Now, the period that United States currently living through, starting from April 2026, so right now it's Rahu, Mercury, Saturn, and from April 2026 it's going to be Rahu, Ketu, Ketu, Rahu, Ketu, until the April 2027. That is even more concerning. If we check the period of United States, back then it was Venus, Rahu, Saturn. So we see Rahu, Saturn here, we see also Rahu, Saturn here, and then going to the Rahu, Ketu. Yes. So this is concerning, and later on I will go into astrocartography. Now, what is also interesting to notice that in my 2026 podcast, I am emphasizing the period in the end of the year, which will be around November, 15th November. Jupiter, Ketu, and Mars will be meeting at the 1st degree of Leo. This is Gandanta zone. So Rahu and Ketu, they're shifting nodes. If we check a transit chart for United States, for 1980, there was also happening the shift of the nodes. And if we go specifically into the 18th May, this is when Rahu was on the edge between water and fire sign. Only this time, this year. We will have it in the Gandanta zone, not Rahu and Ketu here. We will have it vice versa. We will have Ketu here on the Gandanta zone and Rahu in the yes. So you can see here that all this dangerous thing is happening in the edge. What is also concerning to me here is that it is opposing natal moon. Moon is within 8-degree orb. It's not direct, but it still, will have an impact. And what is concerning for me regarding land and regarding inner emotional foundation is because Jupiter, and you will see later how Jupiter is also involved in astrocartography in the 1980 event. Jupiter is a ruler of the 4th house here. Therefore, it's in a dangerous Gandanta zone. Gandanta is water and fire. It is very much in the nature of volcanic eruption. So that is concerning to me. And therefore, I decided to check closely also the eclipses here in August. Because if, for example, in my mind, when I was checking yesterday, so if, for example, some seismic activity, because don't forget that we also have Saturn-Neptune conjunction with Shiat. Shiat is a star of disasters. It can be connected with water. It doesn't have to be connected with water, but still. It's happening in the current, in a few days, in a week or so. It will be happening in the 4th house of the United States. 6th degree. Far from the cusp in that tradition, but still, it's 6th degree, so that means 10th aspect or square will be directly affecting United States. And in opposition with the Saturn and Neptune natal ones. So, if, for example, we start to see certain seismic activities on the west side of the United States, we might start to see them now, and then slowly but surely it might grow more into something more dangerous, for example, in the fall of 2026. So solar eclipse here will be happening with Jupiter again in August, and then lunar eclipse in the end of August will be happening in 10 degree. So again, we're hitting moon here. Moon is a people of United States. So lunar eclipse very close happening to natal moon. So whatever is happening is going to be very in the next 6 months, starting from August 2026. There will be certain sequence of events or just different events that will be impacting the national body of the country. And that is happening where Magha Satabhisha here. Magha Satabhisha. Again, Satabhisha is north. And Magha is more of a southeast. So it pulls us to the different direction here. This needs to be monitored closely, but like at this point of the video, I think my main idea is to pinpoint a certain things that lead me to think that there can be danger, and then when we start to see seismic activity, I will go more deep into further analysis. But what is another concerning point for me right now is that Aries. So we are in Aries Pisces now, and Pisces will be until May. And back in 1980s, it was also Pisces period in Gemini system. Yes. And it was even worse. It was Pisces. And Pisces is, again, it's a fourth house of the chart. This is where Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening now. Now, just not to go, I will go now later into the chart of the Western astrology. If we open the chart of solar return for 1979, we see the Mars here sitting on 15 degree of Taurus. 15 degree of Taurus is the star Aldebaran. It's the star that historically was linked multiple times to natural disasters such as earthquakes and volcanoes, volcano eruptions. So for 2026 solar return, starting from July 2026, we see that Mars is within 2 degrees of star Aldebaran, which still, within orb. So that gives me a little bit of a concern clue that something major can be happening already in the next cycle of solar return, meaning after the summer 2026. Both years, if you notice, we have 2026, we have Jupiter in Cancer, and 1979, we have also Jupiter in Cancer. Meaning that transit Jupiter was in the 8th house of United States. 8th house for United States contains sensitive, it's called Karesh degree, and this is something from the very advanced level, more or less, of Jyotish astrology. But without going into the very, specific deep details, that's mean whenever slow-moving grahas or slow-moving planet is passing this degree, something dangerous can happen, even if it's benefic, and even if it's Lagnesh. It's actually specifically, it is danger for the body of the country, for the emotional body, for people of the land, because it's a ruler of the 1st house and it's a ruler of the 4th house. Now, so we have, to wrap it up, we have eclipse activation on the same degree. We have activation of the same area of the chart, and it is northwest. We have Mars in the solar return chart in the same degree, and we have Jupiter transiting the same house, ruler of the land in territory, transiting through difficult degrees, in the 8th house. And we also have the same planetary dasha activation. It's Rahu active, Saturn somewhat active, and we have this Gandanta zone that I already mentioned. But it is going to happen closer to the end of the year. So, if we open chart of United States, on the northwest, during the solar eclipse, we have nodal axis, we have sun. So sun and moon are a icy line, so it's a 4th house line. So again, that can pinpoint to us the idea of something happening to the land. We go to conjunction, day of conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. We go to lunar eclipse. So with when it's lunar eclipse, Mars will be on IC line again on the 4th house of land, IC. If we go further to the August, how about solar return? So this is the solar return. So solar return again show us the Rahu being on the IC line. Then we have eclipse again happening in Rahu and Nodal nodes here. And 27 August. We have Sun, IC line, and Moon, and everything again activating the IC, which is 4th house. When we go to directly moment of conjunction of Jupiter, ruler of the 4th house, Mars and Ketu, that looks extremely concerning to me because we have all these lines here on the coast. So we have both Ketu line, the one that MC. So MC is the something that is major, something that is visible, something that is happening in front of everybody's eyes on the international level. So this is something that will be happening here on the West Coast that will be in the headlines of all news all over the world. So we have Jupiter line, MC line, Mars MC line here, and Ketu MC line here. They are going through Gandanta zone. It is happening November 2026. And that looks concerning to me. Now, I have another chart. I have a person who live actually on the East Coast. And that person is in just a little bit a question for you who's watching this video. If you know someone who live in that area on the West Coast, or and specifically I need the chart. I need chart with the birth time, with the exact birth details to see. I mean, ideally I will need to make a final decision on if it's going to be happening something major or not. Ideally I need 100 charts, but even 10 charts will do the work, because the person who is living on that side of states, it is going through Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn period. So Saturn is already active, Jupiter is already active. Saturn-Neptune conjunction will be happening directly on his natal Jupiter, ruler of the 4th house. And it is going to be aspecting, opposing directly his ascendant, that is 7 degree of Virgo. That is the same as a, for example, natal chart that is going to be affected by this conjunction directly. And in the forward chart, also Saturn and Jupiter, period here gives me some concerns. So I think that's about it. I think I covered it all. I went even deeper in 1800s, and it was New Madrid earthquake. in the Mississippi River Valley. So what is interesting is that during that period, the United States was going through Saturn-Rahu period. Again, we have active Saturn and Rahu. Again, it was Pisces major period. The problem is that solar eclipse was happening in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, which is south. Well, actually, it's not a problem, because if you watch the Mississippi, it's somewhere like from the center of the country, it will be somewhere here. So more or less, it is closer to south for sure. And it's also, the lunar eclipse was happening at 18 degrees of Aquarius and Leo. So, and it's mean that it was activating Purva Phalguni Nakshatra by that eclipse. But it's the same degree that is happening now, 18 degree. It just only now the 18 degree will be, 1 second, I will show you. So 18 degree Aquarius now will be Sun, and back then, before that New Madrid earthquake, it was Moon, 18 degree Aquarius. So they were sort of vice versa. Let me put it here. So the eclipse was... Here, if you can see right away, we see that Pluto is conjuncting Cato. Pluto is lord of the underground. It's very transformative and heavy planet. And it's in a square to Saturn and Mars, being here. And by the, and it's also obviously it's squaring also Rahu and Sun here. Very tense configuration. And 16th December was actual earthquake, and that was Saturn and Mars. And it was right on the ascendant. So Sun and Moon was together, and Saturn was also on ascendant. And Jupiter was also very close. Again, Jupiter has to be involved. Whenever something major is happening, I notice that Jupiter has to be involved. And just for you to see, that is September 2nd. So, and it says on north from Memphis. So, as you can see, lunar eclipse, that was the same degree as happening now, lunar eclipse. 2nd September. So the activation was here. We see the Jupiter intersecting lines with the Saturn. Also Mars is here. So all the tense configuration that we just saw in the chart, the square between Saturn and nodes, and Saturn and moons, and also Moon and Sun, and also it was 1 second, I think was also involved Jupiter. Yes, Jupiter was across. So basically during the... Yes, Jupiter was in the opposition to the ascendant, in the opposition to Saturn. So basically this is the picture during the lunar eclipse. And then this is the picture during the earthquake itself. So it's 16. Again, during the exact moment of the earthquake on the December, it was 16 December, and we have a Jupiter line here, Saturn line here, again happening in that area. So it's also written in the history that the earthquakes were continuing in the January and 16th January. So they were still here, all these lines, and 16th February. Okay, so that's when the earthquake started to slow down. It was a sequence of earthquakes in the Mississippi River Valley. And here you can see that they're slowly drifting apart from each other. Let's see. Yes. So Saturn is going away and Jupiter is also moving. So I guess it was like also Jupiter retrograde and direct motion. But while I'll still have the chart open, while I have the open charts of United States, so Sun and Moon eclipse, solar eclipse will be happening at the 4 degree, right? And that's mean it's going to be only 3 degree away from the natal moon, a ruler of the 8th house of unexpected events. And this is the astrocartography for that moment, for the solar eclipse. And we have Sun and Moon on the MC line. So that's mean something major may happen in that area regarding United States, regarding people of the United States. And lunar eclipse, we have Mars MC line. Again, Mars is the planet of aggressive military action. And during the lunar eclipse, we have Mars in the same house with Rahu and Sun in the 3rd house of borders, but it's borders with the neighboring countries. So if we're speaking about a country that is far, maybe the whole war will be happening in the media area, in the media sphere, because 3rd house is, information, it's mass media, it's narrative, propaganda as well. So aggressive media propaganda and media narrative will be happening about that area on Earth. That's just something to notice. About the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 20th of February. We have Saturn and Neptune happening on the icy line on the in the 4th house, in the area here, Dallas, Kansas City, all this area, again Minneapolis. So something about changing structures, dismantling for the new structure to be happening, like happened in the the Berlin Wall fall. So here we have this area here, and it is again it's happening in the 4th house. So it's an internal problem. It's something that the other world is not going to be affected by this on the major level. And if we check the MC line for the United States, so MC line is happening in China actually, Saturn with a Neptune conjunction. So it goes over India, Nepal, China, and the middle part of Russia. It is also happening on the north area. How about Greenland? Is it happening? Something? So over Greenland we have Uranus again. And here also transit line, Saturn and Neptune transit line, somewhere near the Greenland. Okay, now it started to be too long of the video. So I hope you got my point that it's sort of wait and observe, but if there's something about to happen, we first and foremost there's going to be some unusual seismic activities that is going to be covered in the news. Also, if you know anyone with the charts who live in that area, please share it with me so I can make proper research to see when exactly there's a high risk. Is it only spring, or it is stretching up until the end of the year, as I suspect? Okay, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.